Could you make it through summer without a smartphone? Have apps made our experiences easier or have they become requirements? And what happens if your phone dies while you're traveling? Are we gaining convenience at the cost of independence? Let's chat. Welcome to the Education Evolution. I'm Lindsay, affectionately known as Miss Black, and you're listening to Tech Evolution. This is the episode where we explore how technology is changing the way that we live, work, learn, and connect. And I'm not talking about the latest gadgets or just the newest apps, but the ways technology quietly reshapes our everyday experiences. And today, we're really talking about summer. Summer, summer, summertime. Y'all, Will Smith really ate with that. Like, I don't think he should come back with this music, but he did. He did eat with that. Now, more specifically, can you survive summer without an app? Because the more I thought about it, the more I realized that almost every summer activity I participate in now involves technology in some way. Before we actually get into the action, I'm pausing just real quick to ask you to subscribe to the channel right now. Yes, yes, yes. We appreciate your support in all forms, but especially in the form of subscribers and watch hours. Thank you. Now back to the episode. The thought for this episode actually started because my Apple Watch died. And not like it lost a charge type died. No. Like I woke up the next morning and the baby would not wake up. It was dead, dead. Now, I've had it for almost 5 years, and I guess that's actually on the latter end of its lifespan. But dang, I was actually devastated because does the workout count if the Apple Watch wasn't on? I don't know. Okay, fine, fine. Yes, in real life, the workout still counts. And the gym has clocks, right? I have an iPhone with the Nike Run app that record my workout, but that's not the point. What surprised me, but also wasn't really surprising, is how often I wanted to reach for my watch to start a timer or count my steps on my afternoon walk, monitor my heart rate on all these runs. There's obviously workarounds for most of these things, like there was a life before technology, but losing access to them just reminded me of how quickly technology becomes part of our routine. And that got me wondering if something as small as my watch can become that integrated into my daily life, what about all the other technology that we use during the summer? Okay, let me set the scene. Think about your typical summer. Maybe you're taking a trip. Maybe you're going to a concert, parties. Maybe you're planning a cruise. Now, think about how many apps are then involved in all those activities. Because once I started making a list, I realized the answer was a lot. Let's start with trips. Okay. I just went to Disney World for the first time ever this past weekend. And oh my gosh, it was I say overwhelming, but it was just a lot to take in. But it was such a good time. Now, when I was younger, going to Disneyland, the process was pretty straightforward, right? Your parents bought a ticket. You showed up with your childlike excitement. You stood in lines that you probably complained about, and you rode the rides. Maybe hug Mickey, Minnie, or Goofy. I don't know. Now today, there's a Disney app and it's practically part of the admission ticket for real. There's a Google powered map on the park. So, like, you can get directions to the next ride. You can check wait times on the app. You can book lightning lanes so you can skip the line or move in a faster line. You can order food ahead of time. Like, the mobile ordering was a real win when I went. I cannot lie. And then you can find entertainment schedules. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of these features are genuinely helpful, especially when you're planning with kids. Not me though, because I'm a rich auntie. But when you're planning with kids, I can see the benefit for real, for real. And like, it would be silly for me to sit here and argue that standing in line longer is somehow a better experience. But it does make me wonder again, at what point did visiting a theme park become an exercise in managing an app? And if someone handed you a paper map and took your phone away, would the experience feel freeing? Or would it be stressful for you? I don't know. That's for you to answer. Then there's just general travel. Travel has become digital. Think about the last time you took a flight. Did you print your boarding pass? Probably not. Or did you pull up using your phone? Probably. Most of us are using the airline apps now, checking in through the app, tracking gate changes through the app if we're paying attention, tracking our bags through the app to make sure they get on the plane with us. It's efficient. It's convenient as hell. And it has become completely normal. All right. So normal that if the app stopped working, many of us would feel completely thrown off. I will say though, it does tug at my heartstrings a little bit when I'm at the airport and I see someone who is older or just maybe just not as tech savvy, struggle with the kiosks because the tech boom has definitely left people behind. And fun fact about me, I always make a conscious effort to help the elders or people with that are traveling with babies when I'm at the airport. Community, humanity, try it on your next trip. And speaking of next trips, I'm actually getting ready for a Virgin Voyages cruise. I am on the planning committee for my 10-year college class reunion trip. And guess what? There's an app for that too. Now, Virgin knows how to do an app, okay? Like, they app's pretty good, I think. You do your cruise check all on the app, reservations for dinners, your excursions, activities, and like you can build your schedule on the app. I think that might be my favorite feature. You can even communicate with your friends on the ship Wi Fi through the app when you're actually on the ship. Like, all of this is through your phone. So again, I'm not saying that it's bad. In many ways, it's easier than carrying around printed schedules and paperwork. But it does highlight how technology has become part of the vacation itself, not just something we happen to bring with us, something we actively need to optimize our experience. And it's not just travel. Think about summer events. Going to a concert, I actually went to see Wale a couple weeks ago. That Everything Is a Lot album, that shit is a vibe, okay? But I had to purchase that ticket through an app and I had to have my barcode ready at the dump. Going to a party, Posh, Partiful, Dice, Eventbrite. You heard all these before. These at least one of them is ringing a bell for you. And for the maybe 2% of people that have never heard of those, if you're going to a party, networking event, whatever, you probably RSVPing on one of those apps or getting a ticket off of one of those apps. Okay, let's say you're looking for directions, right? For your summer road trip, Google Maps. You need a ride home because we don't drink and drive around here. Uber or Lyft or Waymo. Or Waymo. I love me some Waymo, y'all. Midnight munchies. Or maybe you need a good meal just to get ahead of a hangover. It happens. DoorDash, Uber Eats. The funny thing is that none of these examples feel unusual, like none of them should have been blindsiding to you. That's because we've gotten so accustomed to them that we barely notice them anymore. Technology has blended into the background and embedded in our everyday life. So that begs the question, are apps making summer better? To be fair, like let's really call out the upside of all this. Apps are solving real problems. They reduce wait times, hallelujah. They help us navigate unfamiliar places. They make planning easier. They help us coordinate with friends, even the difficult ones, because we all got a difficult friend that just don't listen. They prevent us from getting lost. They save us a lot of time. And if we're being honest, most of us probably wouldn't want to go back to doing everything the old way. Maybe some things, but not everything. So this isn't an anti-technology conversation. It's actually a conversation of reflection because something that can be helpful can still be worth examining. So the question I keep coming back to is what are we trading for all this convenience? Have we become less comfortable figuring things out in real time? Do we rely on GPS so much that we don't know how to get nowhere? We don't know the directions. Do we depend on notifications so much that we stop planning ahead? Not really. Maybe a little bit. Are we becoming less adaptable when technology isn't available? That's the big one for me right there, because part of the answer is yes. I don't know that there's even one right answer for all of these either. I think this is a real subjective conversation, but I do think that those questions are worth asking. Now, let's end with a scenario. Okay, another scenario. You're on vacation. You're in a city you've never visited before. That phone dies. Can you still find your hotel? Can you find a way to access your tickets? Can you call your ride? Can you contact your friends? For many of us, the answer isn't as obvious as it would have been 10 or 15 years ago. Because, like, my dad, I mean, he's a baby, he's a boomer, he's a young boomer, but he still has all the numbers memorized. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from this conversation. Not that technology has made us weaker or that apps are inherently bad, but that dependence often develops quietly and very quickly. We don't notice it while it's happening until suddenly we can't imagine functioning without it. Technology has transformed summer in many ways for the better. Perhaps the challenge isn't necessarily using technology. Perhaps the challenge is simply being aware first of how much we're relying on it. Because awareness gives us choice. And once we notice the role technology plays in our lives, we can decide whether it's serving us or whether we've started serving it. And that's the real question right now, y'all, with all this AI. I want to thank you for listening to the Education Evolution. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. And this is a good conversation. So if you feel like some thoughts have come up, some commentary you want to share, Drop it in the comments. Go on ahead and share this video with a friend that you think would benefit. And I will see you next time.